The smoke over Tehran had barely cleared when the world began to ask the inevitable question: who pulled the trigger? And more importantly, why? To find the answer, we must look beyond the explosion into the invisible web of intelligence that spans from Maryland to Tel Aviv. This was not a solo mission. It was a joint architecture, a masterclass in cross-border coordination between the NSA and Israel's Unit 8200. For months, raw intelligence data, from encrypted signals to satellite telemetry, had been sifted, analyzed, and verified with cold, mathematical precision. In the shadows of the highest levels of government, the calculus was shifting. The risk of inaction was beginning to outweigh the risk of the strike. The architect was not a single person, but a committee of experts, generals, and politicians who saw a unique window of opportunity. From Fort Meade to the outskirts of Tel Aviv, the secure lines were buzzing. The target of opportunity had been identified. The clock was ticking. Encryption was bypassed. The regime's inner circle communications were no longer private. The supreme leader's every move was now being tracked in real time. In Washington, the final briefing was delivered. The implications were clear. The strike would decapitate the regime's regional strategy. The order was ready. In Tel Aviv, the command was synchronized. The IDF's most elite units were integrated into the plan, providing the tactical edge needed for the surgical strike. The authorization was given, a signature that would change history. A decision made not in anger, but in cold, calculated pursuit of a new regional order. The stealth satellites were repositioned. The window was open. The intelligence was absolute. The target was exactly where the data said he would be. While the world saw the explosion, the real battle was fought in the silicon and code of the world's most advanced cyber warfare suites. Legal justifications were drafted under the direct threat doctrine. The strike was framed not as an act of war, but as a preemptive defensive measure. Publicly, the denials were swift. But in the private corridors of power, the architecture of the strike was already being studied as a new blueprint for precision warfare. The architects knew the blowback would be severe. They had calculated the response of every proxy, every ally, and every rival in the region. At the heart of the decision was Iran's accelerating nuclear program. The strike was designed to send a clear message. The threshold had been crossed. Even as the missiles were in flight, shadow diplomacy was underway. Back-channel communications were open to prevent a total regional conflagration. The architects had also gamed out the succession. They knew that the death of Khamenei would trigger a power struggle unlike any in the Republic's history. This was calculated chaos. The goal was not just to remove a leader, but to destabilize the very foundation of the regime's expansionist ideology. The operation was a success. The architects had done their job. But as history teaches, the design is one thing. The reality of the aftermath is quite another. With the supreme leader gone, the focus now shifts to the empty chair. Who will seize the mantle of power? Next, we examine the succession crisis. Part 3, the succession.